Dale Weise, friend of the Snow the Goalie program. We love Dale Weise over on Snow the Goalie. And like there was, it was like January 9th or something of 2019, January 14th of 2019, something like that. We're like about a month into the Chuck Fletcher tenure after Hextall got shit canned at the end of the calendar year 2018. Dale Weise comes on with us. We're down at Skate Zone. We interview Dale Weise. I would encourage people to go find that episode. We tweeted it out from the Snow the Goalie account yesterday. I think it was called In the Last Week I've Heard a Lot Worse. I think that was the name of the episode. But Dale Weise goes over on a podcast, and he absolutely ripped, shredded, destroyed, decimated, took down the Philadelphia Flyers, his time as a Flyer. And most notably, he kind of called out Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, and the leaders in the locker room from his brief tenure as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. We're going to try to kind of jostle back and forth between the clip itself and your thoughts and my thoughts and all that. But he was a guest over on Slangin the Bizkit, which I did not know was a thing, but apparently it is a thing, and now I know that it is a thing going forward. And I will give these guys credit. It was a good interview with Dale Weise, and they learned, if they hadn't known already, the same way that we learned a few years ago, there are a lot of very guarded guys in hockey. Dale Weise is not one of them. He will let you know how he feels. And let's go over to him now.
Some really, really good teams that had amazing culture. I came into the league in Vancouver a year after they went to the Stanley Cup final. We won the President's Trophy my first year. That core group of players, like Manny Malhotra, Luongo, Sammy Salo, Kessler, Bieksa, Burroughs, like Alex Edler was a younger guy, but he was pretty big in the league. I was so fortunate and
so there you have the early career. There you have the early idea of what a really good locker room was, and obviously Weise does not feel that same way about this Flyers crew. Let's keep going.
Almost couldn't understand how good that culture was for making everybody feel a part of the team. I joke around with some guys last weekend. Vancouver, we'd get on the road, we'd go play a game. Maybe we fly somewhere, we get in there at 12 o'clock.
I'm going to let that keep playing for a second. So, Ant, the idea of guys all going out together, going out for team dinners and everything, pretty important in hockey, pretty big in sports in general, correct?
Correct, yes.
I would get on other
so
teams
hockey,
where it's like,
here we go. This is
everybody's like whispering to their one buddy, like, where are we going for dinner? And it was just so cliquey. Philly, to me, it was, I went from Chicago in 2015. Again, another incredible culture. You see why they won just by the people that they had there.
Very big juxtaposition here, then jumping back to Chicago and about Chicago's culture as they won cups. And then he mentioned that some locker rooms, we'll take this down for a second, we'll bring it back up. This idea that while some teams, great leadership, winning teams, everybody's together. The leaders are the ones who are getting the team to go out for those team dinners. They're the ones that are getting the team to come together, to spend time together. You're looking forward to going out with your teammates. The big juxtaposition here is that, well, apparently not with the Flyers. He mentions that there were cliques. There were guys kind of whispering to one another, where are we going for dinner? Not where are the collective, the general we going for dinner. All right, we're going to throw back to Weise here.
I went to Philly, and I was, talking to my dad, talking to my brother. Within weeks, I was like, man, no wonder this team hasn't won. You could just feel the difference. You could feel the culture. Two guys leading the charge there were, Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, who were tremendous players, top 10 scorers, great talent, but not guys that were, in my opinion, really bringing a team together, really wanting to win.
So and if we're being real, that's pretty damning. One, Captain Giroux, assistant captain Voracek, but saying great players, however, not guys who really wanted to win. I mean, that's about as damning of a statement as you can have, right? That's something.
Yeah, I kind of say, listen, someone else asked me about it after he said it, and I said, yeah, were Giroux and Voracek the best leaders of men? No, they weren't. And that's, in hockey, for whatever reason, that kind of matters, the captain, the alternate captain, whatever. In other sports, I think there are guys who just are considered leadership guys. They don't wear a C. They don't have to do any of that nonsense. But hockey, that's their tradition. And so there are players like Dale Weiss who wants to go to a place and have other people be that for him, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you didn't think that there was a good leadership structure, wouldn't you want to be the person who kind of try to grab some of those reins and offered some leadership skills to the thing? I would. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, if I walk into somewhere and I don't like how it's being led, I'm going to try and get involved. I'm going to try and make it different, make it better, right? Like, that's what I do. I'd rather do that than sit around and whisper and complain and bitch about it. So I do think there's an element of sour grapes because things didn't go well here. But here's where I will agree with Dale Weiss.
All right.
The culture
an
then.
Agreement. Okay.
Yeah, the culture at that time, and keep in mind what was going on at that time. You had Alain Vigneault, who was kind of sort of, not always the smoothest guy with kind of keeping a relationship with his players. As the coach, you had a situation where you just changed your GM, so there's a lot of uncertainty, and then we already know what the executive management was like at the time for the franchise, and it was an abject disaster. So, yeah, the culture was probably really bad, and it would have taken a really good leader type to change that. Like, even if Claude Giroux and Jake Voracek were decent leaders of men, not great, but decent, I don't think that would have changed the culture because of just everything else that was happening at the same time. So I do think that he's right that it was bad, but I think that there were external reasons for why it was bad, and it was only exacerbated by the fact that neither of those guys were really guys who were going to be the great unifiers of a team and go beat the world, considering what was going on.